Hello and welcome to I Talk to Ghosts, the podcast that will always wander into the haunted woods with you. In fact, I'm bringing the map and the haunted trail mix. I'm your spirited host, Jennifer, a professional medium and a collector of ghost stories. Tonight, dear listener, I'm going to revisit a topic that I found to be a very popular one as far as favorite episodes of this podcast go: mysterious staircases in the woods. Think about what you would do if you encountered this strange anomaly as you listen to these stories tonight. After the spooky, let's climb down from the scary heights with a spiritual reading for my podcast guest. I love showcasing my medium readings so that you too could share the experience with me and my sitter, and also so that you can directly see my work as a medium. Perhaps one day you would like a reading with me as well. After the reading, join me at my seance table for a message from the spirits. I set the intention for a spirit to come through who is connected to someone listening to the podcast. So this could be your message to receive. That's later on in the episode. But first, things are looking up, even if those things are strange and creepy. The stories begin right now. Now, I don't know if this is true for every search and rescue unit, but in mine, it's sort of a unspoken, regular thing that we run into staircases in the woods. You can try asking about it with other search and rescue officers, but even if they know what you're talking about, they probably won't say anything about it. They've been told not to talk about it by our supervisors. And at this point, we've all gotten used to it, that it almost doesn't seem weird anymore. On just about every case where we're really far into the wilderness, I'm talking 30 or 40 miles, at some point, we'll find a staircase. And it's almost like you took the stairs in your house, cut them out, and placed them in the forest. They come in a variety of shapes, sizes, styles, and conditions. Just runes, but others are brand new. I saw one set that looked like they came from a lighthouse. They were metal and spiral, almost old-fashioned. The stairs don't go up infinitely or farther than I can see, but some sets are taller than others. Like I said before, just imagine the stairs in your house as if someone cut and pasted them into the middle of nowhere. I asked about it the first time I saw some, and the other officer just told me not to worry about it, that it was normal. I wanted to go and check them out, but I was told very seriously that I should never go near any of them. Now, I just sort of ignore them when I run into them, because it happens quite a bit. I live by a nearby forest. To access these woods, you have to cross a small abandoned railroad track over a waterfall to get to some natural trails. My habit was to walk down the tracks for a certain amount of time and just cut off into a random part of the woods. I'd walk a little and then I'd walk back. Sometimes I would walk for hours. This became a habit of mine because I kind of became fond of nature. Well, one time, while walking, I found what looked to be your typical walking path in the woods. so I took a stroll down the path. I walked for about 15 minutes when I found in a clearing in the woods a staircase. Just some regular mossy stone steps. They must have been about 15 feet high, but the weird part was there wasn't a foundation or anything. I thought perhaps maybe it was a piece of art, but at this point I was really far from civilization. I didn't really think anything of it. I just walked around checking it out. I wanted to mark the location, but I had no connection on my phone, so my maps wouldn't open. I took a few pictures on my phone and then returned to the path. After a while, I thought I took the wrong way because it was about 15 minutes walking there from the railroad tracks, but it took a little over an hour to get back. It horrified me because I thought I got lost and freaked out for at least the last 30 minutes. But then I was back on the tracks and I went home. Nothing weird happened until I got home and looked at the pictures I took. The stairs weren't in any of the photos. Fear set in because the pictures of what were supposed to be the stairs were just woods, just trees. The stairs were just gone. I jumped on the internet to search for what they may have been, but I couldn't find anything except for strange articles about mysterious staircases. That's when I got really scared. It's true, nothing really happened to me except I probably got lost and the pictures were unexplainable, but I really don't understand what happened that day. I found a staircase while walking through woods that were so thick, I didn't see it until it was almost under my feet. The stairs were made of loose cobblestones and moist earth, like they were a work of masonry once, long ago. I climbed the stairs thoughtlessly, half expecting there to be a landing to greet me at the top. There wasn't, though. Just another crumbly step and an unimpressive view. Something caught my eye as I craned my head. Below me, the bushes and the trees were packed tight and dense, except where there were stumps of dead trees that formed sunken wells around them. And from one of these craters, someone was looking at me. I remember clearly their dark, lean face, their round, black eyes. No sooner had I seen the face that it disappeared. Only then did I have the inkling that I should probably get off the steps and return back to the trail. Do you have a personal ghost story to tell? Come join me on my podcast. Tell me your unexplainable, spooky experience, and we'll record it together to share on a future episode. Visit italktoghosts.com/contact for more details. I can't wait to hear your story. Hello and welcome back to I Talk to Ghosts. My guest this evening is Stephanie. Stephanie, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, Jennifer. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for doing this with me today.
Oh, no, thank you for being here and sharing your time and energy with me. And I got to tell you, I feel like someone was coming in for me last night. I do want to ask you if your grandparents have passed away. Because I'm getting a lot of grandfather, father energy and grandmother, grandmother energy.
Yes, on both sides.
A lot of loving, supporting energy is coming in for you. I feel like they were just very
emotionally supportive in a family way for you. And I'm also getting the impression of like homegrown. Like if you're going to describe these people, they're like homegrown.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the imagery of it's either plaid or like flannel. And then from there, it's feeling like almost like cowboy energy. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. The plaid and flannel for sure. Yeah.
And that also backs up that homegrown kind of every man's man, very sincere.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. This grandfather, it might not be him, it might be the other grandfather. It feels like there was a little bit of a disconnect there or something like that.
Well, I don't know, I'm just say one of my grandfathers I never met. He passed when I was in the womb. I guess I could kind of see there was a large age difference between him and my father. So possibly.
I don't know if you know much about the grandfather who passed away. Was he described as being kind of deep in his thoughts, just in his mind, didn't quite share it a lot? It was almost like he was an internal person.
From what I've understand, yes.
Okay. But I see him kind of shaking his head a little. And when I see him doing that, I'm like, well, is that a judgment of something? But that's me interpreting, right? So it could just be that maybe when he was thinking, he was the type of person who was just always doing this, kind of shaking his head slowly a little bit. But he's coming through as just kind of contemplative. Did you say this was the grandfather with the flannel or not?
I don't know. I would say the other grandfather wore the flannel, not this one. But when you did the head shaking too, I don't know in the way you're doing it, the grandfather with the flannel would also shake his head a lot too.
Like that too? Okay, maybe I am blending them together a little bit. And the reason I ask about the flannel is because it's like, if I'm going to take a detail, I want to keep kind of pulling in one direction. And it's just always kind of nice to know where you're headed. You know what I mean? Without giving anything away. This grandfather, did he smoke?
Yes, I believe the one I never met, I believe was a pipe smoker, possibly, yes. And then the other one used to years ago.
Not the pipe. The
other one. Okay.
The other one. I almost get the impression that he made his own cigarettes at some point. Like there was some kind of, yeah.
I bet at one point it's like he did.
Yeah. It was like he enjoyed the process of it. And it also just felt, he feels like a very authentic person. Like he liked to do things himself. And are there farmers in your family?
On the paternal side, the one that I never met, there's, yes, lots of farmers down the line. Okay. Absolutely. And possibly the one that I'm thinking of, and maybe you were feeling a disconnect. That one, the one that I'm talking about, the flannel, the one that I actually spent the most time with, he wasn't biologically, but he was my grandfather.
Okay.
So that could be.
Okay. All right. Let me see. I'd love to just take a moment to open the space and see what he has to say. The grandfather you knew, it feels like he wants to like joke around a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Because he's just coming through with, what do you want to know? And also kind of quick-witted, just a quick thinker, sharp guy. Feels like, as I want to ask him what he did, for a living, and I'm getting the impressions of having a lot of knowledge, but also there's this sense of variety there. Like I'm almost having a hard time pinning it down. Can you connect that?
Yeah. He did lots of just different things throughout his life, kind of blue collar type.
jack of all trades.
Yeah. Hmm.
Did he have a truck?
He did.
Like tooling around, going to different places with this truck.
Yes, always. Always.
His truck is his office. And I'm seeing where he lived or worked, was it sort of rural? I have such a difficulty with that word. Did he tool about in a rural area? Because I'm seeing dust around the truck tires, you know, as he's driving around.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, yeah, we live in kind of a, rural area. It's Iowa, they
okay.
lived on a gravel road getting to their house. He would, go out and tool around a lot. I'm sure he hit a lot of gravel. So,
Did he have something on his rearview mirror?
oh gosh,
I know all these questions.
a while ago. I don't.
Okay. Because I've never had that detail pick up before, so I just kind of want to explore. It's like, oh, what was kind of hanging there? I don't think it was anything outlandish. It wasn't like fuzzy dice or anything, but it feels like something kind of just kind of narrow, but there. It feels like at one point in his life it was important to him. It seems like it's a little bit of history just for him. Gosh, I don't know if I say this a lot. I don't know if there's anyone you can ask, but that would be really interesting. Because
I will for sure ask.
And I'm seeing things like on the dashboard of his truck, like putting things down. It's almost like could be a pile there at some point. It feels like he kind of lived and worked in his truck a little bit. It had a lot of paper and I don't know, tools and things like that in there.
Yeah.
Let me see. He immediately wants to shift to your grandmother. She seems very nurturing and very supportive. Like because of her, he felt like he could do anything.
Yeah, I could see how he could just feel that way. I mean, they were just like two peas in a pod, and I couldn't, see him without her,
Yeah. When I asked, I kind of reached out to get a little closer to him, and suddenly this love was there for her, and almost like he wants to shift the spotlight over because he's like, she's the one who deserves it. And he has this emotion of just tenderness for her and that kind of support of wanting to show her off. Like, this is my better half,
Sure.
and wants to say that. Now, with your grandmother, when you went over there, did you guys play games? Because it feels like fun time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, always going to Grandma and Grandpa's. Yes. They had a closet full of stuff that I'd go get out, drag stuff out and play with. It was just always, we always had fun there. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we actually did. I was thinking that, we never played games with Grandma and Grandpa, but yes, actually, aunts and uncles and like family would congregate there and we would play games.
Okay.
All together. Yes, I remember there was this big like Chinese checkered board that was handmade by somebody in our family.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
They enjoyed that. That part of the family really enjoyed that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it feels, the first thing that's coming through entering their home metaphysically was games and having fun. Lightheartedness of it is coming through. I'm seeing your grandmother play cards, either like hearts or is bridge a card game? I'm not even sure. But playing those things too, not necessarily with you, but she enjoyed this.
Yes, I believe she did. And there was a couple other games too. Yep.
Okay.
Cards.
And I'm seeing biscuits. She made biscuits.
Yeah. She really liked to bake. She was yeah, her desserts were the absolute best. We went over there a lot for weekend breakfasts and stuff. Grandpa also did a lot of the cooking too, but the baking was definitely her. Yeah.
Yeah, she poured a lot of love into it when examining the biscuits. If she made those for her husband, and sometimes he would take it to go when he left.
I could see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm seeing you as a little kid with your face painted. Is this Halloween? Like on your nose? Like maybe you were a cat or something like that.
I think I was a cat one year. I think a clown one year. That could be. I was in a lot of dance recitals. Maybe I did something one year where we, that could be too. Mm-hmm. She always, enjoyed watching those. So.
Okay. And going to baseball games, this feels more like Little League.
Yeah, my brother.
Going to his games.
Yes.
And was she wearing sunglasses and a hat? It just feels like she's a little bit more covered up for the sun.
Mm-hmm. Sunglasses for sure.
Let me ask you if there was someone else you were hoping would come through for you tonight. Just because I want to open the space for you.
My father would be one for sure. And that was nice to, Grandma and Grandpa, of course.
Yeah. Let me bring Dad close. He feels like he has a big emotional heart to him. And he has some regret as to his passing, as far as that leaving a hole. I feel like I'm being shared a timeline where he was bright and warm and available, and then something happened where he became kind of a different person. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Very much so. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I promise.
He became very ill in his 30s. I was in kindergarten.
Oh gosh.
And he was diagnosed with MS, and he had a lot of lesions on his brain.
Okay.
And it completely changed who he was, and the doctor told my mom exactly that, like, he's no longer the man that you married.
That's not fair to say, because his soul is in there,
Right.
Yeah. I wrote down shaking hands. So with MS, did he have some of that, some shakiness to him, or an inability to?
Yeah, everything. It was very progressive.
Okay.
So it started out when I was little by him having spells, and we'd go for a walk, and sometimes he'd fall. But
oh gosh,
towards the end of his life, he was in a wheelchair. He couldn't. He had a feeding tube. He couldn't.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The way he's coming through with such a big heart, and the way he's expressing it is like, I knocked over everything, and he's talking about life, and just know that he loves you and your family so much. And if he could fix any of that for any of you, he would, because he just takes so much emotional responsibility for it. And he just, I said he had regret about his passing. It's just he felt like he bulldozed everything, and it's not what he ever would have wanted,
Right.
and he just wants to express how much he loves you guys and how you were his world. And it was just so difficult. He can't not acknowledge what happened, you know?
Mhm.
And yeah, you mean the world to him. And he's bringing up like to teach you how to ride a bike. I see him with his hand on the back of the seat.
Mm, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. He absolutely did. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. We have a video of my 4th birthday, and sorry, I watch them all the time. Well, I used to, you know, there's still VHS, but and that one I got, I think, my first bike. And yeah, there in the video, he's, you know, I'm on it and he's pushing me in it, just even in the video. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that moments like that for him were everything, just everything. And even like the house he chose, and you know, it was important. The house was important.
Yeah. He took he surprised my mom when she was in the hospital having me. He brought the keys to her. Surprised her that they had to like close or whatever, that they got the house. Yeah, it was a surprise. I think it was maybe early or something. And
even in talking then, like the sidewalks and the neighborhood, and how it's just so important. Like your house is your home, is your heart.
Yeah, he did, and he did a lot of he did a lot of his own things. Oh yeah, he did it. He made it look beautiful, and I have a huge connection to that house. Every dream, and it's always back in the house. So.
I feel like messages are coming from him. He's talking about how amazingly capable you are, and just wants to offer you so much encouragement. Like, there is nothing you can't do. All you got to do is decide and do it. And hopefully you see this in yourself, and you have the confidence, because he's so proud of you and what you're capable of. And he's just like, you can do anything. So plan it and just decide and do it. You know, it seems like it's almost like he sees you as this magician, like you're magic and you're able to do things.
Yeah, I mean, well, no, that's amazing. I have, over the past few years, manifested quite a lot, I guess, of my life is, crazily grown my career.
Yeah. And he just wants to encourage you to keep going, because, and he's saying you have a big heart too. And the more you can use it in what you do, the more you're going to shine, and the more the world needs it, you know, and he just sees this in you, and he's just so proud of it.
No, I just wanted to mention before, when you were, you said that the father figure sometimes, he wore a lot of flannel. He worked with farmers. He was kind of like an agronomist. He worked in a fertilizer company. And I was just thinking, after you said that, I was thinking grandpa, but that very well also could have been dad. And he had a work truck. But yes, of course, he probably would. Yeah, he was going out and visiting farmers all day out in gravel fields.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. It's funny how, of course, it's both, because they can combine their superpowers and come in together. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think your dad is the one who wants to kind of joke that he's a bit of a cowboy. Like, he's like, yeah, I'm just this tough guy.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. He's a big
guy. Let me see. I want to shift back to you for a second and just say that there's just a lot of encouragement with you, with being prosperous and abundant and successful. You're flourishing and you're doing your own thing. And yeah, it's going to continue to work for you. That was it. Oh my gosh. Does your dad ever give you signs? Because it feels like, maybe it's a song.
Sometimes I feel like at certain times when I hear certain songs, and then like he pops in my head, I feel, oh, okay. Or if it's a certain song that I remember, just from that time period that I would have listened to when I was little, or, I don't know. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm always receptive.
I think you're on the right track there. And let me just validate it for you that if that seemed to be something to it in the past, don't doubt it. And also, it's okay to ask in the future. Just be like, hey, I want to play this game with you. Go ahead, play it in the grocery store, or, wherever the randomness can come up. I would be remiss if I also didn't mention ladybugs. This feels more like your grandmother.
Ladybugs. But yeah, I mean, out at her house, I feel like she had something out on her porch with ladybugs on it too.
Look for it in the future too. Yeah.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
I'm being shown one. So it's like, okay. Just want to pass it along. If something comes in, I like to just give it.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Okay.
Know that your family is there for you. And yeah, there's so much love and emotion with your dad. And I feel like your grandparents kind of paved the way in for the energy of this reading. And so it almost feels like your dad didn't know how to say the things he wanted to say because it was so much, So he wanted to make sure that your grandparents had that space first a little bit, but before he came in, know that they're all still with you and very connected to you. And anytime you throw emotion out there for them or think of them and them throw emotion out there, that's how we connect. It's absolutely how we connect. So yeah, thank you so much for letting me do this for you. And before we go, do you have a personal ghost story that you would like to share?
Yeah, I mean, just something from my childhood, I guess.
Listener ghost story.
One thing that I did experience, I would say I was in middle school, maybe 13, 14. And at our current house, it was just me and my mom that stayed upstairs on the upper level. And then I think my brother was like a teenager. So he was like he had a room in the basement, he didn't want to be by us. But we had, over Christmas, one of my nephews had caught my room on fire, actually, set my curtains on fire. He had like he found one of those, the long candle lighters. Mm-hmm. And nobody was watching him, and so anyhow, during this time my room was being renovated, and so I was sleeping in the guest room, and I was just sleeping on the floor, with pillows and blankets, and I had a TV in there. And back then, this would have been the 90s, so certain stations still kind of went offline at night, or it got like fuzzy, Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I remember, and there was just, some different feelings in that house. But I remember one night specifically, I woke up and there was this really super fast whispering in my ear, and I couldn't understand what it was saying. And I remember when I woke up, like the TV was like all fuzzy like that. And I, tried to shake it off and go back to sleep, and it wouldn't stop. It was like relentless. Like, so there was something right in my ear, just going and going and going. And I just couldn't understand it. And I knew that I was not dreaming. I knew for a fact I wasn't. And so I got up and I ran down the hallway to my mom's bed, and I got in with her. And then like the next morning I told her what had happened, and she's like, oh my gosh, she's like, I had a dream last night. There was something like floating above my body last night. It was very weird that we both just had these things on the same night, but that's about it. I mean, there's just been little things here and there, but that's really it. But I mean, that was the one thing I'm like, absolutely, there was something right there in my ear, but
that is creepy, because okay, you can't brush that off as coming out of a dream and you were dreaming it, because it was continuing to happen, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just odd. And I think, at that time, I think probably, they say things happen more when you are in that, that age range, possibly. Mm-hmm. That house did have some odd feelings also, but I think also the fire that had happened maybe in the room next door maybe had stirred, something up. But
absolutely, because they say renovation work can also stir things up, you know,
Mhm.
and like the energy just doesn't like it. It like it wants it to stay the same or something like that. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, interesting.
Yeah. It was an A-frame, a very odd shaped house, very odd. And I don't know if he was the man that built it. I don't know much about him. I know my brother in that same house down in the basement saw a man in the mirror one time. So I don't know. Maybe it was the man that built it. It was a very unique shaped house, very neat. But I don't know. It's just interesting.
Yeah, there could be something to that. I think that when we build things ourselves, we pour a little bit of our energy and soul into what we do, and maybe there was just a little bit of residual energy going on too.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Very cool. I'm glad you shared that one. That was really creepy. Now I'm going to worry about waking up in the middle of the night to fast whispers in my ear. Ah, yeah, everyone's
Yeah.
like, thank you for that. Speaking of thank you so much. This has been wonderful and very moving to speak with you tonight. And again, just know that your grandparents are there and your dad is certainly there, and you don't need me to tell you that. It's just very true and very special, and I'm just really grateful to share this with you.
Thank you so much. This has been amazing. I just appreciate it so much. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Hey everyone, just a super quick note. I am going to be teaching an online class on building confidence in intuitive work and mediumship. If this sounds like something interesting to you, that you've always had a passion for, and you haven't quite had the confidence to really step forward as an intuitive worker, please join me for my class. It's going to be amazing. It will be held on December 29th, which is a Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. You can find information about it on my website, I Talk to Ghosts, or the official I Talk to Ghosts Facebook page. I taught this class at the Port Gamble Ghost Conference this year, and it was amazing. So I hope you join me, sign up, and I'll see you then. Hello and welcome back to I Talk to Ghosts. I have a message from the spirits this evening, so thank you for joining me. Tonight as I work, I have with me the stone Angelite. This is a very beautiful pale blue, kind of robin eggs blue stone, and it is said to be connected with your third eye and throat chakras. And its properties include a very calming frequency, as well as it's said to aid you in connecting with angels and other light beings. So that is Angelite. I'm going to clear my mind, open the space, and set the intention for a spirit to come close. I have with me a grandfather and his brother coming through. So this would be your great uncle. They both, I think they live together. They feel like real homebodies. You know, most of their time was spent at home. They're showing me their home. I'm seeing an older model, dark fridge, wooden furniture, kind of like a golden brown plaid with the couch. When you think of them, you probably remember them watching TV together and laughing. I feel as though Uncle was a little bit more outgoing, a little bit more gregarious. So that was good for your grandfather because it helped them venture out every once in a while. I'm seeing a VFW and Christmas lights. I'm hearing music too. If they weren't watching TV, something was playing, either records or on the radio. Yeah, and your grandfather would go into the garage
and I'm hearing talking on the radio. So he was listening to someone talking. It doesn't quite feel like sports. It feels more like talk radio. Yeah, retired military. One of them may have been a firefighter at one point in their life when they were younger. And they both smoked. Their message for you tonight is there is something that you want to do. It feels like here's your comfort zone. This is what you're looking at going forward, getting out of that and just moving into a new space and kind of era of your life. And it's exciting and scary, but it's what your heart wants. And you're going to be really good at this. This is going to be a really good shift for you. And they see that and they want to encourage you. Don't stay within your comfort zone. Reach, try, learn. And yeah, it feels like there is some travel in as well. And like an ending and a new beginning and just a complete shift. This feels like a whole lifestyle shift for you. It's okay to be scared. Do it anyway, because it's going to be really good for you. I don't think they'd steer you wrong. And you know it in your heart too. You know it. You know it's true. So enjoy the journey. And if this message connects for you, I would love to hear. I just love hearing everyone's stories. So please reach out. Thank you. Listen to I Talk to Ghosts for an atmospheric chill and to never feel alone, knowing the spirits are always around you. The autumn months are the perfect time to share and recommend this podcast to your ghoulish friends. Thank you for supporting the podcast and sharing the spooky. And with that, dear listener, we have reached the end of this episode of I Talk to Ghosts. I hope you've enjoyed my medium work that I shared with you this evening, as well as those strange, creepy tales of staircases in the woods. Have you ever come across one while wandering around in the forest? I would love to hear about it, so please reach out. In the meantime, wherever you wander off to in this world or the next, just remember, come back and visit with me. Have a lovely evening and good night.